a sacrifice seduced for the altar of your vanity. A jealous, hungry God, craving praises of profanity. With bedroom dark and dine, and a deep mouth stained with wine, it drinks its fill. It was your mothers, not your brothers, that agreed to feed you poison. This egregious lack of choice indeed seemed fit to join your voice in, with lies disguised as prizes of reason and wisdom, with briberies of finery to weaken any criticism. Can the fly invade the blossom that devours it? A mouth that lies in wait for a gift of life to shower it.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is session 115. The time has come for you guys to depart Rome and head to Pompeii. You've long budgeted for it. You've got everything you need, all your transportation, all your protection. Everything is ready and prepared. You have all of your people. You have your clothes. All that remains to be seen is to say this is the moment of truth. And are you guys departing now? Do you wait and travel during the day? Or are you going to chicken out and not attend at all?
I think we've invested too much to chicken out now.
Yeah, that would be quite a plot twist, but don't think it'd be beneficial for anyone.
Let's get
Definitely
on
with
with it.
Labiena. Yep, let's do it. We've done too much planning and too much preparing. Let's go.
Outstanding. Well, travel is uneventful but long. You arrive after 7 long days of travel, footsore, ready for a bath and fresh clothes. At some point near the middle of the journey, the aggressive and anxious feelings Stardust have been dealing with finally fade away. Leaves him feeling a little bit washed and wrung out for a few nights, but by the time you arrive in Pompeii, everyone's fully recovered.
Are we going to be trying to deal with Valeronis on the way, or are we going to try to deal with him on the way back?
That is fully up to you guys, so you have a plentiful amounts of time to discuss it.
I believe the plan is to deal with him on the way, where he was away from the eyes of the kindred in both Rome and Pompeii.
But we know the road that he will take when he's going there.
Yes, the main road.
Yeah. So are we gonna really do it right now?
Not see why not.
Can you do the thing what you said you could do with the shadows? Abyss?
She needed to be submerged in water, in a lake. The question is, there is a lake or something that could be close enough on the way between Rome and Pompeii?
Plenty. There's plenty of them. It's a very well traveled road. There are many stops for water, many small villages. There is quite a number of potential sites. The thing is, you got to find them first.
She's going to, would it be possible for her to also send her Talon of the Abyss to scout out ahead to help try to find the good location?
Yeah, I believe you have a Talon that you pretty much keep handy, ready to go at most times. So let's look that one up, and I'll tell you what they can find. Alright. The Abyssal Elemental is a amorphous blob of inky shadow with a Strength 2, Dex 5, Stamina 1. Looks like he has 8 dice to scout. Or actually, no, he has 5 dice to scout because he has no investigation. Alright. So, roll your power first to see how long it lasts.
Want me to also roll the courage roll for crushing the candle?
Let's see. Vampire crushes a small flame, taking a level of aggregate damage, making a courage check at difficulty 4.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So you suffer 1 aggravated damage, which you will be able to heal on the way to Pompeii. Now roll your intelligence plus occult at difficulty 6. Alright, it lasts for 1 night. Alright, so roll me, looks like 5 dice. Yeah, let's start, yeah, we're going to do 5 dice, because that's its best chance. And
1 success.
you only got 1 success. It reports to you that it cannot find Valoranius's description within 2 hours travel of you. It ranged forward 2 hours ahead and came back and said he's not within 2 hours.
He's not within 2 hours of us. It means that he either departed far ahead of us, or he's still in Rome.
So shall we just continue then? Maybe try the next night or something like that?
Might not be a bad idea.
By the next night, I'll have to call for another.
Or can you send it again?
Sorry, what?
Can you send the... It's called the talent, right?
Yes.
Can you send him out again?
Can I?
Sure, it's here for the whole night.
I say you move on as I send him to scout out ahead, yes?
Okay, yeah, it scouts out ahead. On the plus side, it's able to report to you that there are no hazards waiting for you ahead. It's a smooth night of travel. But it gives you no new information.
She reports back to everyone else that the road ahead is safe, but there are no new signs of Felilonius.
All right.
Better luck next time then.
One person can roll a charisma plus investigation check.
Who has the highest?
I have a dice pool of 5.
Me too.
Yeah, you don't want Labiana to roll this.
Oh yeah!
Asking around on throughout the travelers and the inns and the like.
Yep,
the road.
exactly. That's exactly what you're doing.
I have a dice pool of 4.
I'm rolling it then. I have a dice pool of 5.
Okay. Yeah, roll it. It's standard difficulty.
Oof.
Yeah, just not having any luck. Nobody seems to have caught any glimpse of the person you're trying to find. You're either not giving him enough details, or he was just staying inside the cart or the litter.
Could someone maybe roll for Flavia? I think she's got a dice pool of 7.
I can roll for you.
Thank you.
Would you like to use presence on this?
Presence isn't really going to help. 2 successes. They remember seeing a parade of people similar to what you're describing. A couple of guys do, but they don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. So he's approximately 1 to 2 days of travel ahead of you.
Either way, we need to quicken our pace.
Well, let's go then.
Alright, well, that's going to require additional expenditure of resources. Essentially up to 1 permanent point. One of you guys is going to have to sacrifice a dot of resources to catch up. And this entails essentially switching out your horses for fresh horses at every stop, not taking any breaks whatsoever, and pushing everything to their limit.
Oh, I'm afraid Labian only has 1 dot.
I'm gonna sacrifice that dot.
Okay. Astartes, at a couple of stops, takes off some of his jewelry, some of his rings and stuff, things that his mobile resources, and with these pieces of items, he secures the transportation needed. On the 7th night, you catch up to him. He is staying on a ship in the harbor of Neapolis, just down the road from Pompeii.
How convenient that he would place himself so close to the water.
So the harbor itself is extremely crowded. A number of vessels. Vessels docked to vessels docked to vessels. Neapolis is a longtime ally of Rome. It holds very steadily to its Greek heritage. And it's a very busy merchant port. So they do quite a bit of traffic in and out of the harbor. They also get a number of vessels sailing down from Rome, and then they move into Pompeii from Naples. So, you are at the harbor. You look out upon the dark waters, dark sky above you. The party itself, you are scheduled to arrive tomorrow, so you have all night tonight with which to concoct your plans and do something about this Ventru.
Moving on. What do you need from us?
I need to secure a place close to a lake or some other similar body of water that is empty enough, abandoned enough to allow me to perform my rituals without interruptions.
Would it possibly be of any help if I were to, say, incapacitate him supernaturally with intimations of mortality.
Actually, is it a new moon?
Somebody roll a d5 for me.
I'm not rolling.
You want to roll a 1.
Oh, roll the 5.
That's full moon.
Then
Uh-oh.
yeah, needs to be to do the ritual without the outbleed needs to be on a full moon. We can always do the more traditional method,
Which is
which is just kill him ourselves.
how do you propose we do that without being seen or caught?
You're an assassin, are you not, Sartus?
No, I'm a diplomat. Branching out into a sorcerer.
That can be arranged is, if not to heal him, then at the very least we can arrange to provide him with safety. If his ship had to catch fire, and we are to offer him a place to stay, if we are to shelter him, that and ensure his safe arrival at Pompeii,
Okay, but how do we go on about making this ship catch fire?
I have a few ideas. I could dominate some of the local garrison, some of the local soldiers, one of the local commanders, and command him to proceed to set fire to the ship. Another option would be to rile up a crowd. See if there is a group of mortals in the city that resents the close relationship that Rome has, the influence and power that Rome yields in here. And rally them up.
Okay. It it might backfire on us. Are we prepared to deal with those consequences?
Oh, what's our backup plan? We have one.
That's what I'm worried about because we're dealing here with a very resourceful elder.
Mention adventure.
I'm thinking about let's. Plan A is trying to set his ship on fire. We need a backup plan to trying something in Pompeii. Not sure what or how. And our third and last option would be to try to do something on our big back. Chris, how long are we in Pompeii for?
3 nights of party, and the fourth night is kind of a wrap up, and everyone begins to go home.
I'm not so clear about the whole moon thing. Is there enough nights that we can get a night of a new moon?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
It's about
Uh,
2 weeks until the new moon.
Yeah, so basically, our initial plan is out of the window then.
So it would seem.
And I not suggest using the ritual there in Pompeii with so many vampires around. The Bezoar could go for the wrong one.
It's
Um,
true.
Hello, am I coming through now?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
you were trying to speak?
Yeah, I think my headset locked up. So what have I missed? Where are we at now? Just to make sure that I'm up to speed.
We are on our way to Pompeii, and we are
Okay, yeah.
discussing how to deal with Valerianus along the way, or if you should even try to deal with him along the way and not wait for possibly more auspicious chances in Pompeii itself on the way back.
Okay. The I heard most of that and bit about setting. Are we still on the setting the boat on fire? Because I have a concern about that plan.
I'm also concerned about it.
As am I.
My main concern is what's to stop the entire harbor from going up if like they botch the if they botch the you know fire control procedures.
And in turn, all of us frenzying as a result.
Or even just our boat burning down. Our boat or whatever burning down.
Are we in a boat?
Yeah.
Or sorry. Sorry, I'm still a bit bleh.
You guys are not in a boat. You guys, everybody traveled by foot, but he sent a boat ahead. So he is actually staying in his ship overnight. And then tomorrow night, when the party, everyone officially is supposed to be arriving, is when he planned to arrive. And you guys obviously had figured that out.
Okay, sorry.
But another downside to about that is that the fire goes out of control, set other elders' ship on fire.
That is a concern indeed. A concern for those other elders.
Indeed. Especially if they figure out it was we who did it.
You're working under the assumption that there even are other elders present in this harbor at the moment.
I would assume there are.
Even if there aren't any elders present in the harbour, well, I know there's varying degrees here to which the affairs of mortals concern us, but they are a concern to the one who watches over them. It may be that we offend an elder's domain by, well, causing it to catch on fire.
You guys do know there is a old Bruja who rules over Napolis, actually, in these days.
We do know that, right?
Oh yes, you do. This is not a secret.
And what is his name?
His name is. Go back to my notes here, and I'll tell you in a second. His name is Samal. Samal.
That would be unfortunate indeed. But we do not plan to stay long. If we act fast, we can be out of his jurisdiction before he knows what happens. And besides, fires happen all the time. Why would he suspect that this one happened to be a little more unnatural than the others that he most certainly has had to dealt with in the past?
Um, Curious, another thing is the rivalry between um Manele and and why cannot remember her name?
Helena?
See, is it yes? Is it known the rivalry between Manele and Helena?
No, not unless you're Carthaginian, basically.
But I have contacts in the region. Might have been
Not
might have
anymore. You don't have Carthaginian contacts anymore. That died a long time ago.
uh,
And none of you are Carthaginian turncoats either. So
Nope. Well, on the one hand, the setting his ship on fire plan would certainly go a lot easier if we attempted to persuade a mortal to do it for us.
look at Alvina.
That can be arranged, yes. Need to identify local motors that would be able to do so. Preferably the leaders of local gangs or some officer that has command of local troops. Someone that is able to mobilize a large enough amount of people to ensure the fire is set and not put out.
Chris, is Valerine's ship docked at a pier or is it more like in the middle of the lake?
oh, you have no idea. You have no clue. You know that he disappeared into the harbor from asking around. You make the logical conclusion that he's housing himself on a ship here. You don't know which one. And as I said, it is quite crowded. So you asked a very pertinent question.
Well, I doubt it's going to be a good idea if one of us were to go around just putting our hand on ships to try and figure out which one it is.
Is it customary for nobles to have flags or sigils
Heraldry.
on their heralds on their ship? Something that I might be able to look for and identify if I say go over there, fly by over there, see if I can spot a ship.
Well, what are you looking
Well,
for? Exactly.
Any identifying marks, something that I can say this is Valerine's ship.
Okay. First, roll me a intelligence plus. Oof. Trying to think of what markings would be on his personal ship that you would be able to see and know
fine.
are his. Let me look up the character sheet here and see what skill best would apply.
Now, if we wanted to be a little more covert in this as well, would
My yeah, hold on, go on.
I was going to say, would Labiana's homunculi be of use here? Potentially.
Um, well, my initial plan was fly overhead while using obfuscate. Not close by, but see if I can identify his ship from the air
That
with
works too.
auspex and fly back to where we are. A reconnaissance flight, basically.
Okay. So first, I need you to roll your intelligence plus seneschal. All right. It takes you some time, but you think you remember a couple of his ship names and maybe some of his personal flags that might be flying of some kind, some sort of personal sigil. And now you can go ahead and make your roll to activate thaumaturgy. That must in 4+ years. I think that's like the second seneschal roll we've ever made. All right. You activate your thaumaturgy and can hold on to it pretty much indefinitely. You
So,
obfuscate up and you fly. Perception plus alertness, please.
and I'm using Auspex for that one.
Absolutely, you would.
Is that alertness?
Yep, perception alertness. You're just looking for something. You're looking to find the symbols, names, stuff you might recognize. Yeah, you find what you think is one of his ships. It is in the middle of a pack. There are several vessels around it. It's a smaller vessel.
Okay. And is it close by?
Not really.
No, but what I'm referring is close by a pier, or is it something that you have to swim to reach?
Oh no, you have to walk across several ships to reach it. They're actually lashed together. There's not enough pier space to put all the ships on up here.
Okay. So I go back to my ship. I lower myself down, but I keep hovering above the ground so I do not cancel out my flight. And I tell them what I see. So how are we gonna do this? Yes, I did. I believe I did. But the other part is we have to cross more than one ship to reach his.
You mean it is one of those ships that is tied up to the others, yes?
Yes. Pretty smart move, if you ask me.
Not necessarily. If he's tied up to the others, that means he cannot easily move the ship away when the fire catches the wind. Can we make out what wind the direction the wind is blowing?
Oh, that's easy enough. It's blowing into land from the sea.
So it's not. It is against the ship. It will not be the fire will not be spread by the wind towards the ship.
Oh, that absolutely. Well, you'd have to put it further out to sea for the fire to spread inwards.
We can put the fire in one of the other ships and have the wind do the job of fanning the flames towards the Valeronian ship. And with the ships all tied up, they are not going to be able to get away from each other.
Unless some of us can manipulate the wind.
Hey,
I was
And I
just going to
was
say.
looking at Hatshepsut at that moment. Because Astartes isn't really aware of what Hatshepsut can do or not yet.
let me think. This the effect should be is well within my reach. only question is if I can manage the control with the proper distance. In out of character terms, I'm just looking up how far out you can work the power.
Or high up. Because I'm
Hmm?
still. Or high up, because I'm still floating, so I can carry you in the air over there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Check. It doesn't actually say anything about area, so long as I should be able to. Chris, would you say I could manipulate the wind properly for this plan?
You can summon wind, sure. Let's see about manipulating wind. Power over storms. Oh, it's a level 1 power. You can conjure fog or light breezes. Yeah, I think you can manipulate wind. No problems.
And do it from like where the proper like vantage point.
You
It's more
have
the issue.
3, correct?
4 actually.
Alright, yeah, you with level 3, you have enough power to change the winds in the harbor to which direction you want.
Okay, so I can manage that.
Yep.
So we have control over how the fire spreads then.
A degree. It won't be entirely exact.
But at least we can limit the collateral damage.
It's a matter of who.
What do you mean by who?
Who we're going to get to start it, of course.
I would like everybody who has Auspex to roll their Auspex rating at difficulty 10.
Oh no, we're being counter-spied.
Yes. Can I lower it to 9 with aspects?
Nope, this is to literally receive a premonition from your Auspex.
Okay.
Flavia did not got 5 and 9.
Alright.
Well, close.
On the plus side, you can't actually botch this roll, so. Lucius, you have Auspex, don't you? I think you do. A little bit.
And it takes one success.
That's it. It only takes one. Yeah, so it's going to be slash roll space d10, and it'll roll a 1d10. To just manually do it. Well, in fact, I'll just do it here. And okay. Yes, unfortunately, you did not receive. None of you receive a premonition about it. But go on. You guys are doing your plans. So I guess the question to ask is how are you going to get the fire on the ship to start?
I believe the best way to do so would be someone with either dominate our presence to get a mob to do so for ourselves, for to do so for us. In the case, um, either someone dominate get a gang leader or someone that is able to influence a lot of people.
I would prefer if we dominate them, because if we dominate them, they might not remember us if you word it correctly, right? Because if we use presence, they will be aware of it.
Not necessarily. Presence is going to manipulate them into thinking this is what they want. Manipulate the emotions. Dominates more brute force. They might not. They might not be able to identify me, but they are going to know that something's happening to them.
Yes, but that's the keyword. Identify me. So if I were to use presence to get them to do it, they will have to see my face. So if something happens and Valerians get them, might get information from them. But let's say if you use a shadow to cover up your lower part of your face like a mask, just leaving your eyes out, and you put your hood up, you might be able to dominate them, but without leaving any identifying features. Do you see what I mean? So even if Valerius catches the gang leader that you dominated, he might not be able to pull who did it from him. Is that something you can do?
Yes. So I guess we now enter the city and try to identify someone that matches what we are looking for.
You
Someone that
guys
seems to.
are at the harbor. You go in like every harbor. There's a pretty large number of fish markets, um, wine bars, uh, your standard brothels, all that kind of stuff is packed in along the harbor. Slave markets, all that stuff. It's very busy. Very lots of, as I said, there's lots of ships and lots of people running around. So you push into the busy crowd and begin looking for what?
Someone that seems to either bear that bears some mark of rank, some in a military organization or some other organization, or someone that seems to be gathered, that seems to be leading a group, that seems to be that seems to be what to be the word? That seems to be the head of something, the head of a posse.
Well, you find several groups of people that are out and about together, partying together. So it's pretty easy to find somebody who is like a small leader of some kind. He's got a group of guys with him.
How easy would it be to identify if any one of these people are prone to rebellious behavior?
Well, they're all pretty independent people. There's a lot of military veterans in the group. Uh, Most of them are locals, or visit the port a lot, are in and out quite a bit, so they seem pretty familiar. They are all, by the way, speaking the vernacular Italian. You pick up a lot of the Italian dialects and Latin for the most part.
Who here speaks Italian?
What place is Etruscan?
Etruscan
is that
is a dialect of Italian, so you speak it.
I also speak Italian. Anybody else?
Yes, Etruscan.
Yeah, it is in fact its own language, but it's also a dialect of Italian, so it
Lot of
just
common
identifies
words.
you as being an Italian speaker from close to Rome.
But will it affect Albina's use of Dominique?
No, they will be able to understand her. So she's good to go.
So this is our plan A. Everybody's committed to it. I look around the group.
Yes.
Indeed.
That's episode.
I will follow your leads.
Claudia. Lucius.
Guess so.
Yep.
Okay. Albina. You lead the way. But while Albina is doing that, I want to set up some rituals around our ship.
We are
You
not
guys,
used-
you are not on a ship. You guys
Yeah, we know
arrived
that.
by land.
And where are we staying actually?
That's totally up to you. I had thought that you guys are rushed here, so you actually don't have a place set up.
I imagine they are just staying, like some kind of boxes that we use, that we have inside the carriage.
Yep, that's how
Right.
you have been staying.
I believe it would be beneficial if we arrange for a haven for us first. Or do you want to do it and sneak back out?
We have no reason to stay. In fact, the quicker we leave, the better.
Especially once we set the plan in motion.
Okay.
Okay, so Arwen is going to proceed to use Shadowplay to find a place where she can use Shadowplay without being seen and warp around the shadows to cover her features. Kinda like a balaclava.
All right, no problems. You guys watch as she pulls the move from the shadow, and she kind of fades, and darkness gathers around her face, just kind of highlights her eyes.
She's going to be trying to stalk one of those veterans that seems to be walking around, trying to when he goes out to take a piece or goes out to be by himself for a moment, to approach him.
All right, you get up on some guy who's wandered down to the water's edge, a short distance away from his friends, and he unlimbers himself and begins to urinate in the water.
She's going to be approaching behind him,
All right,
placing herself in a way that would be trying to blocking people from seeing him and blocking him from seeing the people behind him.
yeah, you place yourself between them, no problem.
And then she's going to call for his attention. Speak to you.
Yeah, you kind of put your hand on him, and he turns around, and unfortunately, he hoses your bottom half. Hey, sorry about that. Hey, God. He tries to, shut the flow off, which isn't that easy. But eventually finishes up, and he looks pretty embarrassed.
You need. She's going to proceed to dominate him and say, "You are to gather your friends and start a large fire within." And she's going to motion to the ship that would, whose the wind would carry the fire towards the directions by the Valeronian ship.
Okay, you don't even have to make a roll. He just goes, okay. And he immediately walks up to his friends. He's like, hey, we gotta go do something, guys. I got something I gotta go do. And he immediately tries to start talking them into setting a ship on fire. He's like, come on, we gotta go do this. He grabs his buddy, we gotta go. Come on. I got a great idea. And he grabs a couple of his guys and he starts staggering down the pier and begins to cross a couple of ships to where he can get to where he can throw the fire to where you told him. And a couple of his friends are like, what? No, we're not fucking doing that. What the hell? No, okay, come back. And they're like, so they're starting to make a little bit of a ruckus.
Oh, all can't be cast inconspicuously, can it?
All? No, it literally is designed to draw attention to yourself.
Right. I was hoping to, draw his friend's attention to him. Like, yeah. Different kind of way.
Now, Albina was in and out pretty stealthily. His friends are like, dude, what got into you, man? You're way too drunk for this. So he is fighting to go do what he was told to do. And some of his friends are trying to hold him back, and some are... It's a pretty good distraction. It's getting pretty loud.
Oh god, this is going all wrong.
Albina, roll me 3 dice at difficulty 8.
Um, 977.
All right. Yeah. He actually breaks free and he grabs a lamp and you see him whirl it over his head. And he throws it and his friends tackle him to the ground. Dude, what the hell are you doing? And it goes through the air and hits one of the ships near Valeronius's. And you see a little puddle and a tiny fire starts.
And look, hat. Fire needs wind. Start.
Yep, I'm going to try to. Well, actually, can we see the fire where we are?
You see an orange spark. You saw the lamp go flying, and then you see an orange spark.
Okay, as covertly as possible with this, I'm going to make some prayers to Set to try and get this in the right conditions for it to spread as quickly as possible.
And in the meantime, I suggest the rest of us try and start making our way away from this area.
Yep.
Am I able to make a willpower?
Yep.
The willpower.
It is a willpower roll.
Which level is it?
Level 3.
Say? Okay, so that's diff 6.
On Labiena's way, I shall say, to Hatship, so join us when
fuck.
you're able.
Well,
Okay,
at least it wasn't a botch.
Gonna need to make a second attempt though. I just click my fingers and it's like,
Yeah, Set's like, he's not listening right now.
Chris, while that is happening, are there...
there we go!
Okay, forget about it.
Right, so a couple of seconds goes by, and Hatch is just like, shit. Okay. She utters another prayer, makes a couple of magical gestures, and the wind begins to pick up and gust in that direction. Unfortunately, preventing you guys from hearing the alarm bell, fire! And if you're looking in that direction, make a perception plus alertness roll at difficulty 8. They are pretty far away, and it is pretty dark.
By the way, what blood should we be on?
So you guys are on the pier, so Astartes, you see this. Laviena, you do not. People are already rushing to the fire, trying to put it out.
Are there people carrying torches around the ships
There's
that I can
watchmen.
see?
There's a couple of watchmen on each
Are
ship.
they carrying torches?
No, there's lamps. They're not carrying torches.
But let's say if the lamp falls, will it catch? It will catch fire then, right?
Possibly. It might splash and go out too, though.
At this moment, I don't really care. I'm gonna try to use another animate the unmoving. I will make the torch vibrate and let it fall out of the guy's hand.
All right, so one of the lamps that is hanging up. Go ahead and roll your activation. All right, it begins to writhe and twist, and the rope lets go, and the lamp falls on the deck. And would you like high or low? Tell me high or low, or even odd.
Odd.
It does not catch on fire. It just goes dark, unfortunately.
Is there anything we can do, Hat, to speed this along?
Other than what I've already done, not really, I don't think.
I imagine
Unless there are other. Oh, I was going to say, unless there are other torches nearby. Or lamps.
There are several lamps on various ships and such. It's
Well, can I see them all?
yeah, you can see a lot of them.
I'm gonna target all of them all in succession
Okay.
on all of the
Maybe-
ships leading up to Valeronius. Started with Valeronius.
All right, there's 16 lamps that you can see.
I'm gonna try 10 of them.
All right, roll your power each time. Spend a blood point for each one. And remember,
Oh,
you
God.
are down 8, 9, 10 blood at this point.
Without using the blood from what I already used this night, right?
That includes what you've used this night.
Okay.
Oh god, I just had the dumbest idea.
Dumber than me? The my idea?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Chris would shoot down, and he'd be absolutely right to. Trying to use the flaming weapon ritual on the boat.
Yeah, that's a ritual, and it's not a weapon.
I mean, theoretically, but no, I don't. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
A dagger that's enchanted with the ritual right this moment. So if the dagger were to fall, let's say on the sail of the ship, or hit,
Well, the sails are furled up. They're all closed up, lashed together.
or if I can spot something flammable and throw my dagger.
Oh, there's
On-
ropes and stuff.
Now, what if a hand were to crawl up there and untie some of those ropes?
It'd be pretty tough. Not impossible, but pretty tough for the hand to do.
If you're gonna use your hand, Fabiana, I would just give him a torch and fly him through a window and let him set Valeronius on fire.
Now, there's an idea.
That it can hold the torch. This can be
Well.
done.
Or ship, Chris, I'm not so familiar with the layout of the ship. Is there like a way to go below deck
It's
in the
a
middle.
it's a
In the
standard
middle.
Roman merchant vessel, and I know I
So
have a picture of this. On the standard Roman merchant vessel, that is usually two sails, one to two sails. There is a small shack on the deck, and there's a couple of ladders, one at each end, usually for going in and out underneath, and a couple of big trap doors for loading cargo.
I'm looking for the trapdoors. Or I'm looking actually basically for an opening that we can sneak the hand into and let him
Okay.
set the
When you
whole.
flew across, it looked like everything was shut.
Ah man.
Well, might still be our best bet. I mean, Labiana may actually be willing to sacrifice Manicus for this.
I wish I could summon a salamander.
Here we go.
Hmm. So how are we gonna? Okay. At as of this
Actually,
moment, it could be the fire could be in an accident that happened.
Yeah, well, obviously the guy who threw one, it's not an accident, but the one that lamp that fell, yeah, he didn't secure the rope right, or it just broke, or whatever.
But I fear repeated attempts to setting the ship on fire might get the wrong attention that we want.
I suppose my question is be how close would Labiana need to get in order for Manicus to be able to...
I can get you close enough from the air.
Um, you it's 100 yards, right? Radius.
Yep.
You'd have to get. I don't know. I'll give you a luck dice.
Also, I just realised there are other things that could benefit me here.
How? Hold
Where
on.
are we?
Well,
How deep is the lake?
the harbor, it's
Yes.
Benedictio.
How deep is it?
Because
Because Labiana can walk underneath the ship and control Manicus.
plus,
yeah, she could do that.
she can also cast Benedictio Mortem to help her here. At least temporarily.
That's the one where it's your. No, that's not your emotions. That's
No. Assumes the full aspect of a corpse and able to slow off the weaknesses for a period of time.
Yeah, you would not be afraid of fire. You could sit there and be right there at the fire all day long because you're just. I'm already dead. Fire doesn't mean much to me when you're dead.
Yep. That's one willpower and a stamina and a cult roll diff 8.
So I fly over Manicus, drop here. Chris, if I'm using obfuscate and I hide Manicus in my clothes, he will be obfuscated, right?
Yes.
So I will. The plan is for me to try to reach as close to the ship as I can get from the back side of it,
All right.
close to the water.
You have to
And
reactivate your thaumaturgy power.
for flight, I'm still hovering. I didn't lower it.
Yeah. When you use other thaumaturgy, it
Ah,
drops.
okay, that's not gonna be a problem then.
Oof.
I forgot about that part. So I'm gonna go close to the water, lift myself just enough to put Manicus on the deck, and Labier will control Manicus from below the ship. And Lucy's idea is if Manicus can find pitch or something like that, and set it on fire. But can Manicus walk while holding a
No.
torch?
No, he
Uh,
cannot.
No.
so we're still at square. How can I set it on fire?
I mean, the next best thing is just to just unsecure it and let it fall.
The torch? Or
Yeah,
manic-
the lamp.
Yeah, but
It's either knock it
or
over or
Okay.
how strong
untie it.
is Manicus?
That's a good question. Kill a servant.
It doesn't really have a strength rating.
Kill
So
a
he might not be able
stats.
to pull something
3,
flammable
12
right
holding.
under the torch or the lamp.
If it's really light, like a rope or something it can grab with 2 fingers and hold on to while it drags itself over. So a rope, paper, a few scraps of tinder wood, yeah. A crate, a whole sail, no.
Okay, the homunculus has 2 health levels and 2 dots in each physical attribute.
Yep. So it can move itself around pretty easy. It's basically not impeded by weight.
Okay, I'm looking for inputs here. The plan of until now is get Manicus to put something flammable under the lamp, and I will try to get the lamp to fall and catch on fire.
Okay.
Any ideas how to improve that plan?
I
Trying
mean,
to think
how
of.
how willing are you to sacrifice Manicus? Because
Well,
even if you cannot have him drag something flammable, maybe you can have him cover himself in something flammable, like alcohol has been suggested or pitch.
well, I guess you could say there's plenty more where he came from.
There is indeed plenty more.
They are
Oh,
useful things.
and I'm not. Can you control Manicus while he's on fire?
Hold on. It does also say sunlight and fire damage are in identical fashion to a Cainite. So I guess that answers that.
So it's gonna be just if it's
Yeah.
identical to Cainite.
Once it catches on fire, it's done pretty much
Yep.
instantly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
A shame because I kind of like the idea of just a disembodied hand on fire just slowly crawling towards you.
That would be creepy as hell.
That is what I was picturing. Let him bump to anything set everything you can see on fire.
Oh, it did, hang on. I think I read that wrong. It just says it damages it in identical fashion.
And it's got 2 health levels, right?
Yeah.
Instant go.
Poof.
Yep. Then alcohol burns nicely. Somebody said.
Yeah, alcohol or tar should do the job.
Hat, did you bring your special brew?
Yes, but we're not using that for fuel. God damn it! I had to break. I had to break my back out for that.
How much did you make?
It's not just about how. It's the short period I had to make it and the special alterations I made. That is some of the best product I have produced in my entire unlife.
Hat, how much did you make?
I actually can't remember out of character.
Just need one little crate.
Oh, you know, if only Manicus did have access to where Valorinius was actually staying, because if he might have been able to take in a vial. How funny would it be if he could carry a vial of her hungry mold in and just ditch it at him?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Now he could do that. You just have to get Manicus over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ship on docks. There must be plenty of alcohol going around, I imagine.
The rum, I'd imagine.
Wine.
I'd not think they would have run at this point, as they do not have sugarcane and the like.
It's true.
I don't know if we can get specifically. I know
Me?
Greek wine specifically is supposed to be really high alcohol content.
So right now we have two avenues to go by: alcohol and Labiana's special stuff. So
By now, you've noticed that the tiny fire has been put out, and somebody has run off to go fetch. The guy who was dominated has been subdued, and he is being hauled onto the ship that was set on fire for punishment, which is probably going to be hanging right then and there.
But the initial fire's gone out, so we need to start another one if we want to do this, right?
Yep, the initial fire has been put out.
Oh, blast.
However, the wind is still blowing quite hard. As long as Hatchetfoot wants to keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Ultimately, we just need to figure out how to set off a number of lamps. I do wonder if the wind could be possibly strong enough to knock some over.
I can knock them over. It's not going to be a problem with that. Um, Can I see if there are any lights coming from
Alright.
the
I need you guys to make perception plus alertness rolls for me. At
I'm
the
hating
difficulty
this.
6.
I'm hating this already.
Assuming it would not be ideal to use all specs for this one, given everything that's just happened. Or is it calmed down by now?
It's still pretty crowded, so it would be intense if you were to use Auspex.
Like you use aspect side based.
Yeah.
Light based, yeah.
It would not make you deaf or blind, but it would be intense for the experience. Flavia. Astartes.
Is it standard diff?
Yep, diff 6, please.
I think I'm just gonna leave it standard. Bianna's not gonna take the risk.
Labiana, you easily catch this. In fact, Labiana, you recognize this guy. Astartes and Flavia, you see somebody crossing the ships, and they stop and look, and they kind of see you, and you see them see you. Labiana, you recognize one of the main ghouls of Valoronius, staring at you.
Shit.
At this point, Labiana's just gonna quickly turn to the others. Well, we've also got to think quick here.
Is it time to run?
Well, I mean,
I
look,
believe so.
they have no proof of anything. They just see you there.
Nevertheless.
No, if we run, we become
Okay,
suspicious.
not
That's
run,
true.
walk away.
We will
Yeah. Well,
become
she
suspicious.
basically just tells them it's someone associated with Valoronius. And she's just trying not to, look directly at them and just
Okay.
act
Everyone's
natural.
remain calm. Let's just walk somewhere else casually.
Yes, we're just taking a stroll.
He doesn't stop you. You guys are just like, okay, we're done. Turn around and begin walking away. And when you look back, he's gone.
Out of character. Does everybody have his backup character ready?
Ugh.
Okay, so gonna abort
No.
mission tonight?
Yes, that it seems like we went. We lost a chance at this moment.
So let's see if we can do something while we are in the city. But Afir is gonna be on guard.
We will find a way.
This moment, I'm seriously considering selling myself to Helena. Just
Give her a life boon in order to have her kill Valeronius.
I would prefer to owe her a life boon than Valerioni's. I hate that scumbag.
Or to start us perhaps know any Assamite warrior?
Okay, even if I did know one, I would have to get approval from a Castellan to use his services, and I will need to aid him in his endeavors. And I prefer not to get any more of the clan involved in my personal affair. As you have noticed, I'm not the Castellan anymore. By the way, there's a new one in town.
Here's a thought. Here's a thought for causing some trouble for the ship in a different way. Albina, how good are you at swimming?
I suppose I is capable enough.
Just go under and start ripping some holes in the deck with potence.
Wouldn't my potence be enough for that to break through the hull of a ship?
Eventually.
Or your pistol powers.
Not
You're
50.
under the water is dark down there.
Like, none of you guys are going to superhero punch through the hull of a ship. But given enough time, yes, you could rip a hole.
I mean, we've seen that even like a strength 1 character with blood buff and potence can tear through a wall once before.
But, Chapsut, what are you trying to accomplish here?
Well, reaching the ship. For
Yeah.
starters, perhaps we can trade some passage for Varilonius in order to if not get rid of the boon, then at least reduce it. have him become a traveling companion, so to speak.
Um, Chris, I'm trying to remember the exact words Alexander used when he basically threatened our lives.
He did not threaten your life. The gist of it was if you leave Pompeii and you still owe him boons, he will no longer be your patron. And
We'll
the
have to find a
implied
new
threat
one.
was that he would make sure that anyone you tried to become to hook up with would work
Would wish.
you incredibly hard. You would not have a comfortable life.
And I will repeat his exact words to Albina. So basically, we have to get rid of all of our boons.
The life boons mostly, but yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult to just kill one freaking vampire?
If nothing else, he's going to make his return to Rome is going to be harder for him, and that may offer us opportunity if we're to destroy the ship.
But he's a smart
Oh,
man. He might get other people to help him. He's not gonna waste a life boon on getting safe passage back to Rome.
He might do a
is it?
lot of things. So go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, here's another idea. With using this breaking through the bottom of the ship, would it lead to a means to getting to, or Manicus to get to Valoranius, do his thing?
I can get him close enough so he can creep through a window or something like that. But as of this moment, he will be on high alert, so will it be wise to do it? That's the question.
Perhaps not this night.
Would not have many more nights to work.
But
We have to be in Pompeii within the next night.
but Alexander's word was we cannot leave Pompeii. So I take it as we cannot enter Rome while still being indebted to Valerius.
That's how
So
much time we have.
yeah, we can do something there. And if you guys are willing to let me stay at the Caltave a few more nights, I can find out his route. But I will believe it's the same route he's gonna take back to Rome, or he might change it now that he's afraid somebody is targeting here. But either way, I'm leaving it up to vote. I believe Labiana's idea is the most prudent one as of this moment.
Well,
You know, something occurs to me. Do we know how tough he would be in like in a fight? Like, because something that's just come to my mind is why do we keep messing about and not try to just look at it in terms of find a way on board, kill him ourselves?
Because he has presence. He has majesty, we saw him using it, so and we had plenty of experience in getting fact majesty.
the only defense, the only possible defense we have against that is a possible means to perhaps not subdue those powers, but dull them a little.
We might have defense against it, but it's only for me, and it's not a guaranteed thing.
Be a possible last resort, perhaps.
Yes, it's something we can always do.
And you guys are forgetting, he's an elder Ventus, so he has a shit ton of fortitude. So he
Not
might not be that easy to take down.
Well, time is passing. Um, it's well past midnight by this point. The docks are clearing out as you have debated your next course of action.
I believe we're still walking, right?
You have settled into a quiet side area, and you've noticed the night is growing. Even amongst the busy harbor, the drunks are falling asleep. They're passing out. People have returned to their ships, and it's getting pretty quiet. So if you're going to enact this plan, whatever the plan may be,
It has to be now.
you have little time left to do it.
I think it's too risky to do something now. That's what I
Agreed.
believe. I'm going with Fabiana's plan, but wow, we're in Pompeii.
let us leave him be for the moment. Besides, while losing Alexander as a patron is a unfortunate turn of events, it's preferable than death.
Chris, one
Yeah.
question.
Sure.
How likely are we if to get Helena as a patron and stay in Pompeii for the time being?
I think that's something you have to ask her.
You will no longer be my be my clients if you leave Pompeii with that debt. Okay, we'll just never leave Pompeii then.
Very much.
Certainly an option.
Okay, so the rest of the night passes uneventfully. Each of you takes refuge in your travel shelters for one more night, or one more day cycle. You awaken. You are on the outskirts of Pompeii. It's a beautiful city on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius, a short distance away from the truly opulent Herculaneum. It also looks down on the merchant city of Neapolis, as you know. An aqueduct supplies huge amounts of water to the city and to the fertile farmlands around it, which is mostly grapes and olives. To the south, a short distance away, there's a type of traveler's hostel and hospital, and a sacred guild to business. A number of workshops exist throughout the city, including a very powerful a fuller's guild, which makes wool near the amphitheater. Under normal circumstances, this is a city of 70,000 people. By the standards of Rome, it's a village. But by any other standards, it is a prosperous and thriving metropolitan area. You know via your letters that Helena is residing in a large villa just outside the city, known as the Villa of Mysteries. And you notice a steady stream of visitors headed there.
Let us join them.
Yeah, I believe it'd be wise to go greet our host first before we do anything else.
Yes, and announce our presence.
You make your way to the villa. You join the line to get in. When you get in, you see everyone is making their way to a dark-haired woman, cut about to shoulder length, maybe a little shorter. She's decently looking, but is not truly a work of incredible beauty. And she appears to be directing everybody. Everybody's coming to her, so they're going to her first. You recognize Albina. You recognize Eletria, Helena's chilled.
Albina approaches her, giving her respectful nod of acknowledgement. Electria, it's been many years.
Um, she returns the nod of respect, and she says, "Greetings to you and to all your visitors to the great domain of Pompeii. It's truly an honor that you've come to the city in celebration of its founding, and you bring with you all that its mistress asks."
The honor is ours.
Yeah, thank you. The mistress of Pompeii has requested you maintain decorum at all times. She appears like incredibly busy. She's just kind of spouting this out by memory right now. She's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the formal reception. However, as of tonight, you receive the zinnia of Helena, as do all of her guests. You are under her hospitality. Your artists have been provided with their supplies, their canvases. All of your other people have been provided for. And she like begins flipping through a bunch of papers and stuff near her. And she finds one that lists all of your guys' people. And she hands it to you. Where and when they're playing or performing, and where they're staying. The night after the reception, which will be tomorrow night, Mistress Helena will be pleased to view your play. Throughout the party, she looks forward to seeing all that you have to offer and hopes that you're able to fulfill your promise.
We are not going to leave her wanting.
She looks at you and she kind of smiles and she's like, "Good." She's been most looking forward to the music. She's noticed that you were able to indeed obtain the most famous artist, performing musician in Rome. Hopefully, they live up to the reputation.
Nothing I spared in order to bring the best.
You look around, there's a bunch more people coming up. She goes, "Please think of me most forgivingly, for the caravan of visitors and honored guests has not paused, and I must see to them." And she points at a guy. She says, "Zuma here has been assigned to direct you to the house where you will be staying and to help your personal servants get settled."
Abner nods, looks over to the others, waiting to see if they have anything that they like to add.
No.
I'm good.
Right. So
Nothing ahead.
Zuma comes in and just says, "Please, masters and mistresses, if you would follow me." He takes you outside and goes to a house in the city, a domus. It's a family home, and they are loaning out some of their quarters for the party, basically. So you get your sleeping areas. Zuma looks at all of you and he says, "I shall have the slaves sent to your rooms tonight, or would you prefer later?"
Tonight, I believe, would be best, yes?
Mhm.
Yep.
Right.
Of course.
He does a head count, and he goes, "There's one extra here that I was not expecting, or that we were not led to expect." And he looks through the names, and he goes, "Lucius. Yes, Lucius. Was there any special... Well, I'm afraid I may not accommodate special requirements as per Mistress Helena's letter. Is there anything... Is that okay?"
Look at Lucius. Give me your particular taste.
Lucius would lean in and whisper to her what his requirements were and if she would be able to accommodate.
He says, I'm sorry, but these slaves have all been purchased off of the standard markets, and they are not accustomed to such work.
Then I guess I would have to make do.
Lucius, you were smart enough to bring a couple of your herd members with you, so you do have enough to feed on for tonight and feed back up to full. But you will not be able to feed on pretty much anything else the rest of the whole party, so be aware of that. So everyone else retreats to your quarters. About an hour later, a slave is brought to each one. The slaves vary. Some are men, some are women, a little older, a little younger. They're all at least clean and dressed in the simple shift, a colorless shift.
One for each person.
One for each person except for Lucius. And that's, according to Helena's letter, this is all you guys get.
Mm-hmm.
So each slave is shown in. They're kind of standing there scared, like, I don't know what's going on, but I guess I'm here to help you tonight.
Can we hunt outside for ourselves, or is that forbidden?
According to the letter Helena sent you, she does not want you hunting in her city.
But outside of the city, are there? It's an island, so the city is the island.
Outside of the city is... Well, it's not something she has control over, for good or bad.
I look at Hatshepsut. I do not want to kill this one. So, would it be possible if you could help me find other sources of food while we're outside? I'm gonna need a lot.
You mean animals?
Yes,
Or...
animals.
Very well. I'm willing to do that. Sure.
Thanks. In that case, I'm just gonna take two from the slave. I'm gonna keep him or her alive.
Okay, you take two. How's everybody else?
I'm just going to grab the slave, bring him over to take 2 blood points from him, not wishing to kill one of Helena's servants without her permission.
It was explicitly said, she said 1 full course meal. The way she phrased it led her to believe these are disposable.
So we can keep them for ourselves if we want to, if we leave them alive.
She fully expected you to eat them and kill them.
She'll let it start out with a simple bite for the moment, simple few handful of blood points. She's going to proceed to kill them in the end before they leave. To what would be the word? The last going.
I will take let's say 3 from mine, and then wait with them to see if they are able to cling to life or perish. If they perish, then I'll take the rest. If not, then I'll leave them be.
Yeah, if they're still alive, come dawn, then he takes them back to the slave pens, and that's it. That's all you get from Helena tonight, over the course of the party. So
Oh, so I cannot use them the next night then.
they take them away.
Ah.
You get one meal.
Then just drink the slave dry.
You know, I'm almost tempted to give Astartes 2 from mine, but then take Labiana, take her slave back to her room and just basically take what she needs. Have him die away from everyone else. I mean, she only needs 2 anyway, so.
All right. Well, so you guys share and swap around and mark up your blood points appropriately.
So, Labiana gives me 2 extra.
Yes, if you'll accept.
Beggars can be choosers.
I'd just rather you take the 2 while he's healthy, and I'll just take the rest sort of out of your purview.
Thanks, Labiana.
Of course. Anything I can do to help.
Flavia will have her 1 slave and take her or him for 2 blood points.
Okay. So that puts Flavia down 6 from her full level. If she only takes 2.
What is her maximum? What is Flavia's maximum?
14.
So she would be under half.
Did Chris say 6 from full?
Yes, if she takes 2 blood points, she'll be at 8. 8 out of 14.
Yeah, so that's over half.
Yeah, so she's okay. But she's gonna be in trouble the next night. Because I believe the house rule is when you're below half, you start getting hungry, right?
Yeah, you're always hungry, but you start getting penalties for being hungry.
Yeah.
There are other options for her to feed. She can always feed one of us.
She can also feed on animals.
Yes.
Yes, she can be Louis from Interview with the Vampire for a little bit. Speaking of, how many of you guys are going out to feed?
I definitely am. And look at Flavia. Are you coming?
Oh, definitely. She says, I think I really need to. I may need a little bit of help.
Right, so Asardus, Flavia, Hatshepsut, exiting the city. I assume Flavia is taking her dog with her.
If that's allowed, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to take him to the party, but going out hunting's probably a good idea to take some protection with you.
And
Okay.
Barik Wallace with me.
Right?
Flavia, did you bring dessert?
That's mean.
She just gives that icy dagger stare and then winks at Astartes. You know better.
Just joking, come on. What's fun?
Alright. Hatshepsut. Well, first off, Hatshepsut or Astartes, roll me a D100, and you want to roll over a 10.
Both of us or just one of us?
Just one of you.
I'm
Whoever
bad
rolls
with
first, I don't care.
I'm bad with rolls. Pat, you're doing it?
Sorry.
Yes. Hatshepsut, roll a d100. Roll over a 10.
Oh God.
Okay. You are not attacked. You wander outside the city, off the path, into a nearby olive grove. Things get quiet. You can just barely hear the parade of visitors coming up the road from Annapolis. It's dark under the olive grove. What do you do?
What is the biggest animal that you can summon had, Shepsut? Given the location that we are in?
Are there deer in this region?
You would have to wander further out into the wilds.
And using common sense, is that more dangerous?
Yes, it is. If you have common sense, you would know that's much more dangerous.
How about owls?
You can do owls.
Alright, I'm going to try and summon owls.
Alright. Make your animalism roll for me. They are a predatory bird. Animalism, the most underrated discipline of all time.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
At least you didn't botch.
It's gonna be the same. Okay. I will try again.
Alright, so you guys have to change locations.
There we go. What is it with getting powers on the second try this week?
Alright. You change locations and nothing happens, and this time when Hatchet sends out the call, you hear woo, woo, and then a bunch of flapping wings as dozens of owls begin to fly in from all over the place.
Alright. Act quick and dig in.
Okay. I need 7 blood points. How many owls are that?
That's four for one.
4 owls for 1 blood point?
Yep.
Just imagine all the hooting going on right now.
Mostly because animal blood counts for half, so as half rating. So
So
it's
let
a
me
4
think.
for 1.
Lavia, Hat, are you guys digging in?
I don't think I can feed on animal.
You can't?
No, Hatshepsut can't.
So, Lavia? And I try to get as much as I can get.
Roll a d20 for me. I'll roll one for Flavia here.
Yeah, I'm definitely into that owl meat. She's probably never had it before.
All right, between the two of you guys, you gather 15. You're able to grab and snap the necks of 15 owls before they fly away.
So you said I need 8 to reach full. That's gonna leave
So
2 and 5,
what's
7
15
for
divided by 4? There's 3 blood points on the ground in front of you guys that you get to eat.
I take 1 then. Because I believe Flavia will need much more.
All right, Flavia, you get 2. Stardust gets 1. You gonna try again?
Is it costing a chef's with blood to use that power?
No, it doesn't.
So let's move to a different location. This time try, I don't know. Rats is the old standard.
Rats is indeed the old standard, and there's plenty of them in the area.
Gonna be a hell of an experience for people who own these olive groves.
They're gonna
Especially,
be like, what the hell happened to all these corpses here?
isn't it aside from the guts?
Oh fuck, I only get 1 rat.
Yeah, all the birds scared them off.
Now get the threat to call his buddies. Try a second time.
Alright, move again.
Move again. Rolling a D100 again. Alright, you
Oh.
are still unmolested.
This is the last time we're gonna move.
Okay. 3 successes, so that's, I think, around at least... actually, no, let me...
Maybe 30 rats. They're small, come on.
And there's lots of rats all over the place. Rats, mice, rat-style beasts of that kind. Half the animals respawned.
Yeah.
$72 rats. Rats here, rats there, rats coming up the trees. Rats, chipmunks, all those kind of ratty beasties. Rats, red eyes everywhere in the darkness. Everywhere in the darkness.
Rolling 1d20.
Yeah. Roll a d20.
Just rolled one.
Hatchepsit, would you like to roll a d20?
Sure, just to help them get, like, extra.
Alright. Wow. Hatchepsit, roll your animalism again. Call them back before they all scatter.
Wait, I promise we won't eat you this time.
And the bull suckers believe them again.
Yep. Alright. You guys leave behind about 10 blood points worth of rat corpses. So again, that's another 4-for-1 deal. And so yeah, there's 40 rat corpses on the ground ready to be sucked out. Suck them
That's 10 blood
dry.
points. Flavia, how much do you need to reach full? I need 6.
Actually, I do not know.
She took 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So that would put her. She needs 4. So yeah, between all of them, you guys are good.
Okay, then we're both at full then.
Both have got to act full. Now here's the deal with animal blood. Every time you drink it, it's thin and unsatisfying. The next time you're presented with a chance to drink better blood, vampire or human, you have to make a roll at a +1 difficulty, so it's going to be diff 7 for most of you guys, to avoid just going crazy and drinking it all.
And God's help you if someone offers you, like, for some bizarre reason, offers you a cup of werewolf blood.
Yeah.
Out of character, it would be fun to try that.
Alright. You're all fed up. You all meet back up. It's pretty late in the evening. You got a little bit of time to explore, and then that's pretty much it. So we're going to take a break at this point. We'll come back in 10 minutes and restart. All right, well, welcome back. So you guys do spend a little bit of time familiarizing yourself with the city. You don't have a lot of time to talk with people, but you do see some familiar faces and some unfamiliar faces, which you recognize as fellow Cainites. Albina, you see a Nosferatu that you recognize wearing his obfuscate mask. His name is Vir Nobilis. And he's the one that the Nosferatu sent you to learn about the Road of the Abyss. You recognize Drusilla, Euphemia. You've seen, there's a couple of others that you've seen many years ago that you may or may not recognize, which we'll get to them here in a few minutes. The number of roaming Cainites. There are several Malkavians from Rome down here, including Tryphosa. The seer is down. Now, second night comes. You guys are getting ready for the party. You pull out your party clothes. You all mark a blood point off. And head to the Villa of Mysteries. The music is jamming. There's the villa itself is huge. It's humongous. There's a number of art installations scattered throughout the whole building. There are 3 of them that are named that catch your eye. The 3 that are named are called The Creation, The Rape of the Sabines, and Pan Flute. There are, as I said, a number of Cainites walking around. You recognize a Toreador named Alexandria. You recognize a Toreador named Menippus. Menippus is from Rome. You see a man of average height with shoulder-length black hair. It appears to be ever so slightly oiled. He has a very pronounced widow's peak and a broad forehead. People are giving him a wide berth and a lot of respect. There's a face that's very familiar to you. In fact, 2 faces. There's a female and a male. And the male is a short man with a plump belly, a slight beard. He's got a small smile on his face, and if you look really closely, you make out the tip of his fangs. The woman is of average looks just like a woman of mixed Greek and Italian descent. You do see Valerianus working through the crowd. And you see a few others. They spark memories, but they're tough to remember exactly, because it's been a long time. And, of course, Helena's there. Helena is holding court. You see everyone around you is dressed to the nines. You are very glad that you did what you did with your clothes, because you do not stand out as being shabby or unfit to be here. One thing you do notice is that you're probably among the youngest Cainites here. Albina pulled out something really good to get you guys here. So, you eventually make your way up to Helena as a group, and the crowd parts, and you find yourself before her. She turns and she smiles, that dazzling smile, her blonde hair, so carefully styled, kind of flushes around her back as she turns to see you.
I'm gonna lower herself before her. What's the word? Lowering herself enough so that her head touches the floor.
Genuflection.
Yes.
Helena giggles a little bit and looks at the rest of you.
I follow suit at US Albina did.
When in Pompeii, do as the not Pompeians do, I guess.
All right. Flavia and Lucius? Labiena?
I think if with one dot of etiquette, Labiena would know what to do.
Do you have common sense?
I don't believe so.
If you don't, you can roll etiquette. If you do, I will tell you the answer.
No, stupidly, I never take that merit.
All right. So roll intelligence plus etiquette. And while she's doing that, Flavia and Lucius, who I know both have common sense because I made you take the merit.
It's one everyone should take.
Um,
I think Flavia only has one dot in that in common sense.
well, it's a 1 point merit. It allows you to ask questions. But you also
Yeah.
have a pretty good etiquette rating, and I know Lucius does as well.
That's true.
The people genuflecting are embarrassing themselves. Greeks and Romans don't bow. They don't do that.
I mean, the most Labiana normally does is a slight head nod anyway.
Um,
She doesn't bow.
So,
to
yeah.
be fair,
Unless
I'm not really a Roman, am I?
Yes, but you know you've traveled Greek extensively. Yeah, Labiana, you kind of like, it startles you for a second, and you're like, this isn't normal. Like, this isn't normally how you... She's very Greek, Helena is, and Greeks don't do that. They do not genuflect like that.
Actually, I'm wondering if Artemis might have shown us something back when she was still alive.
Artemis made sure that you guys were minimally instructed in etiquette at least. So, yeah, Helena's laughing at what she sees as something of a unnecessary and attention-gathering display.
Are we
Last
allowed to do a closer approach to
Oh,
Helena?
yes. Oh, yeah.
If possible,
You notice there's next to her, or right nearby, is a handsome man of fair skin, ruddy cheeks, breathing, well-defined muscles. He appears to be the only thing even approaching some sort of guard or bodyguard or something like that. Everyone else just is ignoring him, by the way.
I would like to have Flavia approach Helena if possible. Within arm's length.
Okay, you approach.
And she would reach out one of her arms towards one of Helena's arms and see if Helena would offer her arm to her.
She'll offer her hand, and I need you, Flavia, to make a self-control roll not to go into a catatonic state when you touch hands. Because Toreador do this kind of thing. The Toreador clan weakness.
Somebody roll my willpower, please.
Nope, self-control.
Or self-control. I'm having
Yep.
a hard time finding things today.
Mhm.
Thank
And
you.
difficult 6, yes?
Yes.
No.
Oh shit. She's gone.
Oh.
Yeah. You raise your hand. She offers her hand, and as soon as you touch, you're just like, oh, that smells so nice. And you just kind of like, ah. And that's it. That's all you can do is think and look at her and just be like, huh. Wow. So beautiful.
At that moment,
It's the Toreador thing.
at that moment, I stand up and gently remove her hand.
That breaks the concentration.
Yeah, and at that moment, I say, I think we've done enough to embarrass ourselves for this night.
Helena says, maybe not, because she looks at Lucius. Lucius! Or no, she doesn't say Lucius, she looks at him. She goes, I don't know your face. And she's speaking to you, Lucius.
would smile, nod his head slightly, and give us the name.
What would a party be without a few uninvited guests, I guess? Am I right?
It would seem that way. Sorry, I'm coughing.
That's fine. And she looks at the rest of you guys and with her appraising quick eye. Lucius, now that you are making eye contact with her, I'd like you to roll your perception plus your empathy score at difficulty 6. And as you do that, everyone, she keeps talking. Yeah, so Lucius, there's nothing human in her gaze. You're eyeball to eyeball, almost kissing distance. And this is a game to her. There's no real warmth or fun. This is a distraction. And when she says, "What's a party without a few uninvited guests?" She's looking forward to seeing something. Like, she anticipates something happening tonight or over the course of the party. Something she's going to find vastly amusing and you probably won't.
Well, sometimes the uninvited can be the most fun. And he would say that while staring her straight in the eye.
That she doesn't crack her facade at all. She says, "Sometimes, and sometimes they're the first shown the door. It remains to be seen which is which."
The night is young. Plenty of time to find out.
You guys see another Cainite approaching, talking, and she kind of whirls. She goes, "Oh, Lucian. Oh, pleasure to see you here. So wonderful that you could make it." And the guy with the widow's peak comes up. They do the kiss thing where he bows and kisses her hand. Not a huge bow, just a little bit to bow his head. And she turns and she says, "Oh, do you all know the Lord of the Night in Capua? This is Lucian."
I believe we had the pleasure, yes.
He does this, like, kind of feral sniff. And then he looks right at Hatchet and he goes, "I know your scent."
Oh?
You can see he runs his tongue over his teeth. "I do. I have a ring that I've kept as a trophy, and a reminder. It came off of your arm."
How, flattering.
But speaking of, I'm wondering if you can give me an answer about something.
Perhaps it will depend on its nature.
Oh, relax, it's not too personal. A while ago, your Sola came through, destroyed someone who has been quite painful to me. I wish to thank this person who incited Sulla to target my old rival. Saitola was her name. I don't know if you all knew her. And that does ring a bell to all of you, except for Flavia and Lucian.
Yes.
Actually,
you tell me?
I think technically I was asleep for most of that.
It doesn't ring a bell with me.
This Decius
And then
doing.
Might have been,
My
yeah,
memory's
might have been when Decius was still here.
I
And
believe that
Nicodemus was
he's
still
doing
here.
that.
Yeah. I was hoping you could tell me who might have put him on her path so that I may thank them.
Out of character, do I know anything more specific than just the fact that I put him on the power-hungry path?
I thought you guys knew this in character, but you may not.
I
I
mean, what,
can't. I ca-
Go ahead, Albina.
I believe that what we do know is that Decius used some of his favors that he got to set
Oh,
those against Ciatola.
Yep,
Yes.
you are 100% correct. Decius is
alright.
the one who did it.
Yeah, I forgot out of character. Well, from the what I've heard from my companions and so forth, I believe you would have to thank Decius. I forget what the other part of his name is out of character. Back in Rome.
Well, do be sure to pass on my gratitude, and tell him he is welcome to come down to Capua, where I will treat him to his favorite vintage. On me.
But of course.
And then he takes his leave of Helena and walks away. And the party separates you guys, and you begin to mingle amongst the rest of the guests, checking out whatever you want to check out. The rest of the night is pretty much yours.
Alpina is curious about what the old Nosferatu protege student has been doing lately. So she's going to approach him.
Yes. You approach Vir Nobili. While we were doing this, I'll see if I can find his picture. Yeah, he's mingling, talking to a few other guests. He has dropped his obfuscate mask. He is out in full view, as are several others. There's a couple of Cappadocians as well. So
Yeah, Labiana's probably done the same.
he is mingling. He sees you approach, recognizes your superior status to his, and therefore is the first to speak up. Puts his hand over his chest and nods his head a little bit, and says, Albina, mistress of the shadow, I am very pleased to see you here tonight.
As I am pleased to be able to see you once again. It's unexpected, but pleasant. How have your own studies been going ever since we part ways?
Yes, my interest was mechanical. Academic, I suppose is the correct word. Less so than to be spiritual.
Have you found your academic curiosity satisfied?
I find that my skill in your ability of shadow is possibly lacking. I feel that if I had such ability, I would be more able to comprehend those things that I have put down on paper. But to be perfectly honest with you, the prospect is daunting.
Daunting in what way?
To learn to touch the shadow is not something to be undertaken simply out of academic curiosity.
She looks over at him. Uh, a bit surprised at the way how he the respect that he seems to be showing to her discipline, to her arts. But please, upon seeing this, you grew a lot since we last spoke, and you learned a lot. You are a wise man.
Well, I thank you for the compliment. Wisdom is something we all seek to gain and develop as we progress. I see by your attendance here that you have certainly progressed in your own endeavors. You making friends and speaking with the great and powerful amongst us, and doing so with ease.
I had the pleasure of meeting Helena in the past, while I was under the guidance of Mistress Artemis. It was only thanks to that I was able to get an invitation to such an event.
Nonetheless, it takes great wisdom and courage to recognize an opportunity and to seize it, and to seize it promptly.
I believe it would take a great deal of courage to deny Helena.
Or to challenge her, and he glances very briefly at Lucius before returning his gaze to you. How often are courage and foolishness confused?
Last time I saw someone challenging her, I believe she had him become her puppy for the night, so to speak.
I believe this is a tale I would like to hear. If you have time.
We have all the time in the night.
So the two of them begin walking around, gazing at some of the walls of the villa, the excellent art installations, and Albina begins to tell him of the time she saw someone humiliate themselves in front of Helena on the island of Crete.
I believe it was Icarus, yes?
I believe so. I believe he made some weird remark, and she basically used presence love on him and made him her footstool or something.
Yes.
So what? As the two of them are talking and gazing, walking around, looking at things, how about the rest of you guys?
I would like to approach Labiana. Labiana, the way I see it, it's just the two of us that are screwed with Alexander. Do you think it is ethical to keep the rest of the coterie involved in our problem?
Well, I understand what you're trying to get at, but I believe we should leave it up to them. Of course, I will not force them to do anything.
Are we not forcing them then just by asking them because we know they will not refuse our help if we are a coterie? They will not refuse in helping us, but is that the way we should go about doing this? Because if things go bad, it will go bad for all of us, including Lucius. He's pretty new to the coterie.
Are you saying we should take on this mission ourselves? Leave everyone else out of it?
Right now, it's a war between what I know is prudent and what the little bit of conscience that I have left is dictating. So I want to know what your take on it is.
At this point, Labiana will ponder for the briefest of moments. I mean, technically, this is actually all my doing. If we want to look at it that way, then I should realistically take this on myself. I want to leave everyone else out of it, and that includes you.
But I also have a life wound owed to that asshole. So
That is so then better if we work together. Well, obviously, at this point, we have two options. Could potentially take this on without alerting the others, trying to keep it as far away from them as possible. Or explain this to them and let them decide.
we already know what Albina's decision would be. She's just waiting for an excuse to kill him.
And who are we to deny that?
But I keep going back. What if this goes wrong? I'm not so sure about you, but I'm willing to die. I'd rather die than owe this guy a life bone. If I have to, I will gladly let you guys take me and leave me out in the sun. I do not want to owe him a life bone any longer. So, if we fail to kill him, I'm gonna kill myself before we reach Rome. That's how sure I am about not getting rid of this life bone. I'm not so sure what your convictions are about this whole ordeal.
Well, I guess my thoughts really aren't quite as emotional, let's say. But I guess when you've known people for as long as we have, there is a certain bond which begins to exist. At no matter what level of humanity, can't deny. So in my case, I suppose it is worth considering. Now, if we were to take that on, we'd have to try and find the best way of accomplishing that without their help and determine whether that's possible. And if not, then we just have to decide what we're going to do next. See if we have any other choice.
I believe what you said earlier has some merits to it about leaving it up for the decision of the others if they will help us or not. But I would say let's limit those decisions. Will you find it fair if we leave Flavia and Lucius out of this? They haven't even reached the 100-year mark. Would it be fair to them?
They're still young. It's up to us to see that it remains that way. Alive, I mean. That I do agree.
Are we gonna approach Hatshepsut and Albina alone and leave the rest in the dark about what we're gonna do? I feel bad about doing it, but it's at least I know they can deny knowing anything. They might be left alive if everything goes south. And if we succeed, they might be pissed at us, but at least we know we did everything in our power to protect them.
Do you believe that is the best way?
I believe that, but do you believe that?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Okay, so let's see if we can approach the others without being noticed during the party. My part is done. Is this? It's done for the moment, Chris.
What's that?
I believe I'm done for the moment. Or do you want me to approach Albina and Hatshepsut?
No, it's fine. Labiana, you have anything to add?
No. Other than to help, try and identify a moment where both Astartes and Labiana can approach Hatshepsut and Albina, sort of away from Flavia and Lucius.
Okay. Yeah, Flavia and Lucius have separated from the group and are speaking together intently. They seem to be wrapped up in a conversation. Hatshepsut, what about you? Hat?
Uh, uh, Sorry, I'm getting really tired. I think I might have dazed a bit.
That's all right.
What is it that
Labian and Astartes needed to come talk to you about their predicament.
Okay, sure. John, who's come along? What?
Excuse me?
Hat seems to be available if you guys need to come talk to her.
Laviana, will you take the lead?
Of course. Labiana will approach Hatshepsut. Hat. If it's alright, there is something that Asardis and I would like to discuss with you.
I'm listening.
Well, it is regarding our, well, predicament with our patron. And a few technicalities, as it were. You see, the life boons are not, or do not belong to the entire coterie. They do really only affect myself and Astartes. And we have come to a consensus that we are unwilling to allow everyone else to suffer with us. And we wish to know, well, we wish to say that we would prefer that we take care of this ourselves. But you are a member of our coterie. And we wish to let's just say we didn't wish to leave you completely in the dark, but we preferred that you had a choice as to whether or not you were involved.
Given your age and experience. Not that we are actively trying to exclude Flavia and Lucius from the coterie, but they're still young.
And if anything were to happen, we just didn't want them to, well, suffer anything so harsh at such a young age. The burden is not theirs to bear.
Hat just looks a bit. Hat like tilts her head, just says, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is just standard issue. One of us is in trouble and the others help. I see. I have no. Not only do I. Well, let me put it this way. If I weren't willing to help you now, how could I expect you to help me in cases where I alone got myself into trouble and needed your assistance?
Do you think it would be selfish of us to request them to stay out of it?
Perhaps not the two younger ones, but I don't know. It's your choice. If you actively wish me not to interfere, then I shan't. But I think it's a bit wasteful to not accept help that is freely offered.
I guess what we're trying to say is that it's not that we don't wish you to assist if you wish to. It's more that we don't want you to unnecessarily bear a burden that is not technically yours, unless you wish to.
I believe we do not want you to feel like you're obligated to help us because you're part of the coterie. If you want to help us out of your own free will, we will accept it. But I do not want it to be because you're part of the coterie, you have to help.
We will accept any assistance, of course, as always.
Well, suffice to say, the answer is yes. I am still helping.
And I gladly accept your help, Shepsut. Now let's see if we can get Albina alone to speak with her. Is Albina still talking to the Nosferatu?
They're finishing up right about now.
So I'll wait for them to finish and the Nosferatu leaves, then I will
Yep.
approach Albina.
I suppose it's going to be almost a same again kind of scenario.
Yeah, basically the same scenario. Do we have to roleplay it again or just receive Albina's answer? Chris?
At this point, Albina comes up, sees you talking, comes up.
I explain my emotional view on the situation to Albina. Basically what I told the Shepsut, what we told the Shepsut, and I asked for her opinion on it. If it would be selfish to exclude the young ones, or does she agree with us?
You think you are doing them a favor?
No one
In a
being. Yes, go on, Laviano.
Oh, I was about to say, in a sense, it doesn't seem fair to condemn those who are so young to a fate such as that.
It is through fates like that that we got here. It is by facing fates like that that we got here. You are doing them no favor. You are only taking away opportunity.
There'll be plenty more of those.
And will they be ready for those? Won't this witness that you are forcing on them make them falter? When it comes the time, will they be able to say that they had been by your side? Will they be able to look at us as someone that stood by their sides if we refuse to bring them along in this? If neither of you wish to bring them along, then so be it. But do not pretend to be doing their enemies favors.
I was
I look
so
at it. I guess I look at it how when we were young, how much we needed a patron and how difficult it will be for them. They were to either find it difficult to find a patron or find one who treats them terribly. They might be able to deal with it in time, but at what cost?
The best way to ensure that such does not come to pass is by having them take part in this. By having been able to count on their help in taking down in fulfilling the tasks that are set to us, and ensuring that we are all able to return to Alexander's good grace.
I see the merits of your viewpoint. I haven't really thought of it from that angle. But okay, if we were to include them, is there a way that we can limit the effects of what's gonna happen if anything goes wrong on them?
Well, at this point, Labiena would turn to Astartes and just simply say, well, what if, like we did with Hatshepsut and Albina, give them the choice? Let them choose. Let them see if they're ready.
Yes.
And if it's that case, I'd rather have Abina ask them. Because I believe if we were the ones who ask them, they will feel that like they cannot say no to our face. They do not want to help. But still, I still feel we need to find a way to keep their involvement as minimum as possible. Do you guys see where I'm going with this?
Agreed.
Amina, will you do me the favor of asking them?
Yes.
Thank you, Albina.
Lucius and Flavia. You eventually make your way back and you see Albina approaching you.
Flavia's obviously wondering why Albina is coming forward. Probably has something important to say. She gives Lucius a sideward glance and then focuses on Albina, waiting for her to make her way towards them.
Lucius would simply raise an eyebrow and hold his hands behind his back, waiting to see what was about to unfold.
Alvin approaches them, giving them each a nod. Flavia, Lucius, have the two of you been enjoying your nights and stays within Helena's care?
Hard to say, really. There was a moment where I felt like I almost lost a moment in time, but other than that, it's a pretty neat party.
It's not Rome, but the hospitality is not lacking.
Good. Lapian and the Status are worried that the two of you are not up to the task of taking down Barilonius. They wish to treat the two of you like children and not have you either of you involved in this. Are they correct to do so?
Let me ask you, are you here to ask us what our choice is, or are you here to manipulate us into doing whatever it is that you want us to do?
If I was here to manipulate you, then I'd manipulate. Then your choices would be whatever I manipulated you into. So then there would be no real difference now, would it?
You might have a point. But if you ask me, alone, I think the only way I could possibly contribute to this task would be by, well, perhaps in two ways. I have been known for my ways of persuading men with my looks and glances and even exotic dancing. I don't know if Valoronius would be swayed by such a thing, or if it would even distract him long enough for the rest of you to launch whatever attack you have planned against him. Other than that, I could possibly do the same thing for any of his guards or ghouls, one at a time. Outside of that, you are aware I am not a fighter. That would be more my friend here, said Lucius. And so if the nature of the job lays within those types of possibilities, then definitely you can count on me. Otherwise, I believe that I may be more of a hindrance than an actual tool you can use. So that is my answer.
Lucius would look at Albina and simply ask, why do they want to exclude us?
They think the two of you to be young. They believe that your youth places your youth, your lack of experience, your lack of time spent among a kind would be dangerous.
Lucius would think for a moment and then would respond, when I was 16 years old, when I first tasted battle as a human, I damn near shit myself. I was scared out of my mind. But I did what my duty was, and we won the day. I survived. I learned. And I pushed through my fear because one simple thing: Gloria exercitus. Glory to the army. My glory now is to the coterie. I will use whatever I have, whatever I can, to help this coterie succeed. If they feel that I would be a hindrance to their mission, so be it. Just say so. Fine. But if I can in any way help them succeed, I want to be there by their side.
Albina nods at Lucius, uh, appreciation on her face, and then she looks over at Flavia. Do not worry, child. The assassination is a far more complex affair than mere fighting.
So be it then. I guess that means we're in.
As you desire. She's then proceeding to offer them each one of her hands to guide them back over to Astartes and Labiana.
I look at Flavia and Lucius by accompanying Alvina. I take it you've made your decision.
In a way, yes.
Do any of you hold grudges against me for the way I was thinking?
Actually, I appreciated that you considered my welfare, and I'm very grateful for the way you felt about it.
Lucius?
Thank you, as Flavia said, for thinking about our well being. But no, I am a soldier first. And also know this: if I have to choose between the coterie and Flavia, I will choose Flavia. I know her. I don't know you guys. Being that being said, you have my support.
In that case, I will approach Lucius go in for a hug and whispers in his ear. If anything goes south, I'm leaving it up to you to get Flavia out of here.
He would look Astartes dead in the eye and nod.
I give him a hug and I believe that's settled. So why don't we just enjoy the party and the rest of the night we can see what we'll do.
I've been thinking, do you know what would be the greatest gift one could give to Helena?
Pray tell
Huh?
Alvina.
One of a kind, of course. I wonder if Valerian was to be delivered to her, staked, and ready to be enjoyed. What can we expect from her? I do believe she'd be most pleased.
Chris, would it be disrespectful to Helena if we go outside for a little while where we can speak in private?
No, go ahead. You guys are free to do what you want to do, but um, I would encourage you to think about how she might react to having a staked vampire delivered to her.
That's
Be
the
be paranoid.
that's the part I wanna actually
Uh,
think through, talk through. So uh, think I lead the group outside, see if we're not followed, while I'm enhancing my hearing with auspex. Will that deafen me?
No, you step outside to somewhere where it's a little bit quiet.
So while I'm actually talking, I'm gonna enhance my hearing with auspex to see if I hear somebody approaching, just as a sort of lookout. And I ask Albina,
Anybody have Auspex 5?
no, I do
Okay,
not.
keep going.
Albina, if going on what you said earlier, how will we get her to view it as something favorable?
It is a gift, one that is fairly given to her, for she, out of everyone, is the one that deserves to enjoy it.
But she might not appreciate the gift in the way that you're making it out to be. Because that gift is for somebody with particular taste and a mindset.
And you do not think she has enjoyed that gift before?
I believe it is depending on the circumstances of the gift being given. Not it's not the gift itself, the circumstances behind it. What
Perhaps.
what would say that she will feel offended if we give her that gift?
Perhaps. And I suppose it will certainly be a breach of domain to act without her permission beforehand. Yes.
Mhm. And we have that also to consider because we're here in her hospitality, just like everybody else in the city that is invited. So, if anything were to happen to us while we're here, she would be made look bad. Do you get my meaning?
Yes.
So, I believe plan B for the entertainment is out of the option.
More like butter nice, but yes.
So now we only have plan C to go on. Unless something happens that we can enact plan B again. Chris, one question.
Uh huh.
Is the protection of Helena for the whole event, right? For all the full 4 days, right?
Yep.
Okay. So our hands are tied for the next 4 days. Unless something happened that we can act in our favor. That's the way I see it. We have her protection, so we are protected against everyone and anything that happens to us.
Let us focus on pleasing her and not on dealing with Alexander's request.
You seem to know her best, so I'm leaving that aspect up to you and following your lead on this one.
The both of us, well, I, Mott, and her, have changed a great deal since the last meeting that we had in person.
But still, you're the one who knows her the most.
Yes,
You're still the leader then.
I guess I am.
So let's rejoin the party and enjoy ourselves for the rest of the night then.
Yes. So I stay rejoin the party. Is Flavia and Lucius around?
Yes, they are around. You can find them.
I'm just going to approach them once again.
You do
She's
so.
being seen. Sorry, she's being seen.
And Lucius?
He's there with Flavia.
I've been meaning to ask. Have either of you had the opportunity to meet Drusilla in your time back home, back in Rome?
I don't believe that I have met anyone outside of the people that Marcus brought home. And I don't believe she was one of them.
Perhaps. Perhaps now might be a good opportunity to change that. She is close to the prince, and therefore, being on her good side is always something one should attempt to be.
Do you tell us a little bit more about Drusilla before we do this?
She is a Moncavian. She is of the path of the sins, much like Cainites herself. Although I have not seen her being as indulgent in some ways as Aconia and Camillus have. It's not to say that she isn't, just that perhaps her passions, her sources of pleasure, lay in another area.
Stardust looks at Abina. You don't know her like I do.
Perhaps you should be doing the introductions there, Status?
Let's just say I'm a recovering addict, so I'll leave the introductions to you.
Should be interesting. I'll lead on.
And I whisper, just prepare to be seduced.
Abner proceeds to guide the two of them over to Drusilla.
Yes, you find Drusilla near a artwork called The Creation. The Creation is a statue of a blacksmith at work, and he's standing over a large table with his hammer raised. The table is, in fact, large enough for a person to lay down on. She's one of the several that are just kind of gazing at it, thinking. Drusilla is a androgynous looking creature, short black hair. If you gaze really closely, you can tell Drusilla is feminine, but it's of the body type where it could present as a male as well, very easily. So it kind of looks at him and she goes, oh, yes, Albana Palace. Childe of Emilia, the Clan of Shadows. What brings you here?
The same as everyone else, I imagine. An invitation from Helena. Please, allow me to introduce you to the two newest members of our coterie. And she's going to step to the side to give space for Flavia and Lucius to step forward. This is Flavia, recently taken under the wing of Alexander. I imagine you are aware of the public death of Hosea, yes?
Oh, yes, the emotions it provoked were stimulating.
Nothing near to the emotions that she can provoke with her work, I can assure you. And this is Lucius. He is the most recent of all. And to be quite frank, he's a box that I ain't yet to fully unwrap.
Lucius, yes. Yes, I recall your work with Emilia in chasing out the traitors that were loyal to Cratius. I do believe I was there as Princeps Titus Ventrus Camillus was bestowed upon you words of praise.
I did my duty.
Your sire
I did my
taught you
duty.
well.
Nothing.
The duties of the Ventru, those of the Scion. How much they take up your moments and your thoughts.
Too much sometimes, but still, must be done.
So I know what brings the artists here, and I know what brings the priestess here. What brings the soldier? And she gives you a look of intensity.
I am here to enjoy myself and to spend time with an old friend.
Uh, she catches a hint, looks at Flavia. Oh, how rare. Friends, the friendship survived the ravages of blood and beast. Were you long apart?
Too long, but that is fixed now.
And the urges, passion of that animal within all of us, it has not come between you yet?
Not yet.
Well, when it does, let me know. I will help you.
He would simply nod his head in thanks.
Gratitude, mistress.
Mistress is a word of shame to me.
Do you have a preferred name you would like to be called?
Drusilla would be lovely.
Then gratitude to you, Drusilla.
And she leans in. She says, all things on this world are chains. You must decide what is binding and what is not.
That alone gives me a lot to think about, Drusilla.
And with that, she shoves past everybody who's looking at the statue and lays herself out underneath on the table. Lays on the table, stretches out on the statue, and you see her eyes kind of go blank. How long do you stand there watching her?
Um,
I've not touched the other two after a few minutes. Quite an intense person to speak with, wouldn't you agree?
Flavia would try and whisper to Albina, is this typical audience with her?
It is part of her ways, of her clan. It's, it is often where they receive the visions that they bless us with.
seeing that Drusilla is occupied, I will approach the group. And I would like to use Read the Soul on her, see what her aura tells me.
Okay. Perception, empathy, difficulty 8.
I gotta stop using aspects, man.
Wow. Okay.
I'm blind.
Her aura is rapidly shifting. Anger, peace, love, contentment. Black streaks appear and disappear. It rises. It's a living thing. It grows bright and then it goes back dim. You have no idea what's going on with it.
For a moment, you could swear it started making cat noises.
Yes.
As you're
I,
staring at her, she leaps off the table. Ah! And her fangs are out. Very, very vampire. And she kind of like looks around. And she smiles. And she stretches. And she looks back at the blacksmith. And she looks back at the table. And she nods. And then she turns around and walks away as her fangs slowly retract back into her face.
as soon as she jumped up. I
Mm-hmm.
pushed Flavia behind me, and as she walks away, I will say, well, that went well, better than I expected."
I wonder what she saw that drove her to such a state.
Let's just say when I was reading her aura, I was thinking that either she's gonna kill us or rape us, or seduce us. That convoluted, was it?
Perhaps she is trying to imagine what it was like to be under the hammer, to be what is being created.
Knowing her, You might be right. I hate to be in her head. I want to just touch the table and use spirit touch, just out of curiosity.
Um, your Auspex roll is difficulty 3. As you use Spirit's Touch, what you see is a vision. You are yourself. And as you are there, a woman of strikingly good looks comes up with black hair and very dark eyes. Her hair is so black it almost looks like it has purple highlights. And she takes your shoulders and she lays you down on the table and she strokes your head and she's whispering, "Shh, it's going to be okay." And then the blacksmith, the statue of the blacksmith, becomes alive and puts his hand on your chest and holds you down and takes the hammer and begins to smash it, bam, on you. And you feel the impact and pain. And as you try to get away, it's like trying to move the mountain and you can't. And he begins to hammer into you over and over, and you begin to be molded and shaped flat and then folded over and over like a blade and formed, and then pounded out again. You experience creation. You are reduced to atoms and dust and then reformed and reshaped. And in a burst of light, you become yourself. I need you to roll your courage at difficulty 4, please. All right, and now roll your willpower at difficulty 6. Okay. The experience, while intensely frightening, is oddly reassuring. You are reaffirmed in who and what you are. You are created and reborn again with a clear mind. And you hop off the table in a panic, just for a second. Your hand jerks away, and you look around as you come back to your senses, and you realize you are stronger than you knew. And for the rest of the night, you are at a -1 difficulty to any kind of self-control roll to control yourself.
Well, that is interesting.
And now I need you to make a perception plus alertness roll.
Standard diff?
Yep.
Did Labiana see any of this?
No, that was a vision that he had.
No, I mean, Asadis's reactions.
Oh yeah, you definitely saw his reaction.
Because if she's nearby, she'd turn to him and say, Stardust, are you alright? What happened?
Given his new, I would almost say euphoric high that he is in, he will look at Labiana with a smile on his face. Never been better.
What happened?
It's strange. It almost feels like I've been destroyed, reduced to nothing, and built up again.
As if you went under the hammer of the smith.
Yes. I Chris, do I see her at the moment?
Yes.
Well,
Well, you believe you just saw her face in a flash of clothing, and then you're like, wait a sec. With only one success, you lost sight.
I it's an interesting experience, and during it I had a vision of I believe someone, but I'm not so sure. And they might be here.
Who?
Only got the glimpse of her. Chris, I do not know this person, right?
You have never seen her before in your life.
So I will say no, I've never seen her before. It was during the vision that I had.
Perhaps it'd be good to ask Miss Helena where she got this fine piece of art. Might offer some clue about this vision of yours.
Perhaps.
Well then, shall we go meet with her if she's available?
Okay, let's see where this goes.
Yeah,
With
you
that,
find her eventually. Make your way back through the party, and you see her. Wait till her. She kind of becomes clear once again, and make your way up to her.
I will wait for Abner to take the lead.
Abner approaches Helena.
She tries to look. She says, "Oh yes, having a good time."
A delightful time. In fact, it is related to our time here that I'd like to speak to you. Something caught our attention. One of your um, statues.
Yes. Which one? All two of them were provided by the same sculptor.
Decoration.
Oh yes, wonderful art piece. I'm quite fond of it myself. What would you like to know?
While looking at it is quite a delightful thing to do. My friend here has been able to see further by looking, by touching it. He had a vision. Please, Astartes, would you describe it to Mistress Helena?
I Before I start describing it, I believe, Mr. Selena, have you experienced this statue before in a supernatural way?
She. I have lain upon the stone, yes.
Have you used our particular gifts?
She just reaches out and picks your chin up. Art, little one, is not something that is to be experienced and enjoyed by vision alone. You must embrace it, revel in it, sink your teeth into it, as it were.
And I smile at her description. So I was wondering, who is this artist that made this fine piece of art? It's quite remarkable. I would
Lately,
like,
she goes by Polymnia.
and is she invited? Is she among the guests that you invited?
Of course.
So if
I
that's
find
the,
her insight to be a delight.
yeah, I find her insight also very interesting, to say the least. And I would like to speak with her. So I better go see if I can find her. Thank you for your time, Miss Helena.
I am sure she will be pleased that you've stopped at nothing to experience the full impact of her vision.
And I smile at her. Thank you for your compliments. Now I'll see if I can find her.
Okay, yeah, you head off. She's not hiding. It just takes a little time. You do eventually find her. She is near the art installations. She speaks a few words here and there to different Cainites. As you watch her, you notice she is breathing. She is drinking wine. She does not appear to be a Cainite herself.
As I approach her, good evening. I must say, that's an interesting piece of art you made there.
In the dim light, you look at her, and her eyes almost look like violet pools of water. It's easy to become lost in them. And she smiles through her little white teeth and she says, I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
And is she the same person that I saw in the vision?
Yes,
And
she is. And she sounds exactly the same.
it was it was very eye-opening to experience it, wouldn't you say?
Let me ask you this. Is it art?
It's definitely yes.
Did you experience pain?
Pain, death, and rebirth.
And isn't rebirth the ultimate act of love?
It is. Some people might say that is the ultimate act of love.
Pain, love, creation, all aspects of the same. The act of creation is pain and love and is indistinguishable from each other. Would you agree?
After experiencing it, yes, I would.
As Hatcher said, I hope you're paying attention to this.
I'm trying to, but that's the thing that uh I may need to turn in soon.
Yeah.
But I did notice this, and I am trying to specifically latch onto this now.
So, is it love to inflict pain? Or can it be love?
In certain circumstances, yes, it can.
So, at the root, how do you tell the difference? When is it no longer love?
I would say the end justify the means. If the end result of what you did, the pain you caused, was done out of love, I believe that is the whole thing you did was out of love, even the pain you caused.
What about you, Flavia? Would you agree?
I think it is the intention behind the act that matters. And if the intention is love, then so is the end result, at least in part.
And your own process of creation, was that love?
That
Not from the way I see it, but I think it may have been on the part of my sire. I cannot visit his intentions now, though. He's gone. For me, it was right.
That's the part that I was just want to comment on. The one experiencing the pain, experience the pain might not believe it is an act of love, but in the eyes and mind of the one who did it, it is love.
Would you liken that then to a parent and a child?
Yes, the son, most of the times the child will not understand why the parents are denying them stuff, telling them no. They might hate their parents for it, but I believe when they're grown up, they might realize that in the long run, their parents wanted the best for them, that the parents loved them enough to inflict that momentary pain on them for their greater good. And I look at Flavia. Do you know her?
I don't believe so. Or was the question to the other girl? Sorry.
No, it was I was talking to Flavia. Then I look back at
Okay.
her. Might it be possible for you to enlighten us how you know my companion here?
Some things are not meant to be known. And she just smiles.
At that moment, I use aspects, but for a sense of touch, aspects one for a sense of touch,
Okay?
and I take her hand, give her a kiss on her hands, and bid you farewell. Thank you for the interesting conversation. I hope that we can meet again. While I'm doing that, I'm trying to see if her body temperature is hotter than me or the same.
Much warmer than you.
She's definitely human. Does she accept my farewell?
Yeah, she doesn't try to hold on to you.
Okay.
She says, do be sure to enjoy the other exhibits.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, but Helena mentioned that you made two of them. Which one was the other one?
Around the corner over there, the Rape of the Sabinus. You are familiar with the ancient history of Rome?
Out of character, Astartes might have been interested in reading about Rome while he was preparing to go there, so I believe he
There is
would have.
a tale that soon after Rome's founding, they noticed that it was almost all men. And so they invited a neighboring community, the Sabinus, to a large feast to celebrate the founding and their newfound unity. And while there, they killed most of the men and then kidnapped the women to be their wives. And so as to increase their own community.
Okay, I know that tale, so I repeat, yes, I know this tale.
I mean, she actually says it. She tells, blurts it out, the whole thing. There you go.
Yeah. Given my previous experience, it might it will be interesting to see what can experience from this one. And I would approach Albina and Labiana and maybe even Lucius. Can you guys accompany me?
Yes, what is the matter?
Let's just say that I had to control myself after the last experience. And the same artist made also this statue. And I point at the one.
It is a the Rape of the Sabinas, as you go around, is a tapestry. It hangs over the whole wall, and it depicts a woman attempting to flee with a breast hanging out, and a man chasing her with some of her ripped clothing in hand. And there is a body on the ground, presumably her husband.
And I look at the one. Do you know the tale of the founding of Rome?
You look at who?
Albina, I look at you and say, do you know the tale of the founding of Rome?
I'm quite familiar with it, yes.
And I look at the tapestry. I just want to see what I can experience. So, given what happened to me last time that I had to control myself, I think I would like some backup too in case I lose a little bit of control.
You want me to hold on to you?
Yes.
As you desire. Abner wraps her arms around Astartes' own arms, pulling him behind his back.
I walk up to the tapestry. I want to use spirit touch on it. What's my difficulty?
3.
Now that I'm really eager to experience, I'm going to use temporary willpower to make sure I get something.
Okay. With 7 successes, you are sucked in. You are no longer a man. You're a woman. You no longer a vampire either. You breathe, you feel. You feel human. And you are waiting, and there's a knock at the door. And it bursts in, and a man comes after you. He has the head of your husband in his other hand. And as you scream and try to run, he grabs you and throws you to the floor. And perpetrates the act of rape upon you several times. You feel all of it. The horror, the loathing, the absolute monstrousness of the act of being taken next to a portion of your dead husband. And then your life expands in front of you. You realize you're pregnant and you must raise this rapist child. And it happens again and again. No longer quite so violent, but yet still rape. For you never wished to have intercourse with this man. He was never yours. But you've been taken. You must raise his children. Multiple times. You must endure until you're old and gray and you finally die. And you come out of the vision. Roll your temporary willpower at difficulty 9. All right. For the rest of the night, you are under a derangement. You cannot stand to be touched. Anybody attempting to touch you will provoke a violent response, including the person holding you right now. You are also at a +2 difficulty to resist any frenzy, so cumulative, you're at a +1.
If that's the case, I will Is there a space between me and the wall still?
Yeah, there's plenty of room around you. She's just Albana's kind of like holding one arm and your chest on like a hug, just enough so you can reach out and touch it.
I try to jump out of her grasp and say, "Don't touch me."
This isn't like a don't. This is a yell, a get the fuck off of me, don't touch me type situation. Albana, he is not happy.
She's told to keep him, to ensure that he's in control of himself when he comes out of it. So she's going to keep on holding him. Are you in control of yourself,
All right,
Astartes?
I need contested strength rolls.
I'll be done with win.
Okay, that's fine. You now I need a self control roll from you, Astartes.
Difficulty.
Difficulty 6. All right, you do not frenzy. And that's with your +1, by the way. You don't frenzy, but you need to break away from her.
You see him almost through. It's almost like it pains him to tell, "Don't touch me. I'm in control, but don't touch me, please." You see, he's trying to hold back from trying to rip your head up.
Yeah, you can see his fangs have come down. He's more animalistic in his movements and his face. He's on the verge. He needs to be let go.
She's going to toss him aside.
All right, Sardis, you're cornered, but you're no longer being touched.
Thank you. And at that moment, I realized that I'm actually not being myself. And the last thing I want to do is hurt somebody from a coterie. I will go outside to the balcony in a corner, stay there by myself, see if I can calm down.
I think that's a good point to end tonight. Astartes is seeking a tiny bit of solitude, and the rest of you gazing at that tapestry, wondering what the hell just went on in his head. I believe everybody gets 2 experience points for tonight, and we will meet back up in 2 weeks to continue the party.
To be honest, I feel like it isn't going to be that hard to guess if you spirit touch on, that particular scene.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate your time. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We will be back in 2 weeks for our next session. Want you guys rejoin us, and I hope you continue to listen and hope you continue to enjoy it. Have a great evening.